What's up, guys? It's Bryce from Reviews to Rambles, and today I am here with Mike. Mike from Micro Gainz.
I'm here. Let's do it. HomeGymCon.
Yeah, HomeGymCon 2027. He's going to walk me through what he brought today. He's got a couple new toys. So you want to start with some of the new stuff?
Yeah, we can talk about the new stuff right away here. We have a prototype for PowerBlocks. So this is new. This is the first time we've really revealed this. And this is an add-on plate for PowerBlock for the different types of PowerBlocks. What this is basically a U-shaped weight plate that weighs 1.25 pounds. You can stick it into your PowerBlock on each side, so we can slot in 1.25 pounds. We can slot in another 1.25 pounds. And now we've added in 2.5 pounds to your PowerBlock. So that's the idea. And you can still lift with it. And it's spring-loaded, so it keeps the plates in the dumbbell.
And it's even, right? So you have 1.25 on one side and 1.25 on the other side.
On the other side.
So it's nice and balanced, which is always the challenge innately with PowerBlocks. So he's keeping them as balanced as possible.
Exactly. You mentioned before that those adder weights are at the bottom of PowerBlocks. So if you want to balance those better, sometimes you could take our adder plates, you could even slot them, all the way in the top. So that's going to maybe counteract some of the weight that's at the bottom. And you can do that with both of them. So we have this arch so you can still get your hand to pull it out. And it doesn't really stick out much further than the actual, the loading pin that they have here. So their pin's in here. Whenever you slot our pin in here, they're almost even. So it doesn't really take up any more room. It's not going to stick out more than their current selector pin.
That's awesome.
So that's the idea. That's 2.5 pounds.
And then you've got it, and then you could slide it even kind of higher.
Yep.
So now that I've got the adder weights in the bottom, and so when you get to lower weights on these guys, you feel a little bit unbalanced with them. So if you were to pull it out, you'd feel that 2.5 pound cylinder weight, which will fling it back and forth. But if you add these on the top with the smaller weights, so let's say you're going, instead of the 5 pounds, it's a base, and then you can add up, and so let's say you're doing 15, 20 pounds, these ones would have a nice, more balanced feel without feeling like it's just gonna roll out of your hand. I love that, man. That's cool.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
When do these hit market?
We got a few more, probably more prototyping to work through.
Okay.
We're getting a lot of feedback here. In fact, you guys gave me some feedback to make some modifications for it. But yeah, I'm hoping, next 3 to 6 months, something like that, after we make some more design changes and get the feedback here at HomeGymCon. So
that's awesome, man. So 3 to 6 months, so just in time for Turkey Day.
Potentially, right for the holiday.
Special.
Yeah,
I like it.
Absolutely.
Everybody loves that.
Yeah.
Well, what else do we have here?
So here we have a selection of adjustable dumbbells. Starts off with the Nobel dumbbells, and these are our magnetic attachments. They pull off, they magnetize right to the plate, the first plate on the Nobel.
Yeah.
Then you can adjust your weight and bring them out, and they magnetize to it. So now you can essentially double the weight, right? So they goes up in 5 pound increments. Now you can have the 17.5, the 22.5, the 27.5, etc. You can get those now with just adding these on, and then they just simply magnetize to it, and they stay on pretty well.
I love that. And one of the things people think is, well, what do I want 2.5 pounds for? But if you're doing curls, you're doing other things, and then you could just do 1.25 at a time.
Yep, if you want to, you certainly can.
And just really do kind of the steady progression with your load.
Right.
So,
those 5 pound jumps are difficult over time, no matter who you are, no matter how strong you are. Sometimes you want a 2.5 pound jump.
Yeah.
And this is a great way to do that. And you're doubling your whole set for far less than buying another set of dumbbells.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's really cool. And I will say, one of the things I've always been worried about, so to see it in person, is, so I actually have the Nobels and love them, is that I see them and I see how they click in, and I worry, is this going to fall out? Is this going to be something that's going to just fall on my face when I'm doing stuff or when I'm moving it around? But this is a solid contact. This thing is in there. I'm pushing pretty hard on this thing to get it to come out. It's not just easily coming out. Something came down there, but it wasn't the weight.
No, it wasn't. I think it might be on the backside. Yeah.
And
so you can take them. You can, you're moving them around, and you can shake them, and that's the idea, right?
Yeah.
The magnetic pull has to be strong enough, right? I don't want it to fall on your face.
Absolutely.
If they were falling on people's faces, not good for me, guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's the idea. They stay on there pretty well. Yeah, exactly.
So that quenched all my concerns, and so these are super solid, super stable. So the other thing is when you start looking at adjustable dumbbells, people talk about the Snodes, right? And so how are these ones different than they are for the Nobel? Yeah,
so a similar type design. It's magnetic. They pop off the same way. They have magnets on the back as well. And the idea here is 1.25 pounds. And you can see these are obviously shaped for the Snode, specifically to fit them. So the nice thing here is you can do a couple things. You can have 2.5 pound jumps. The Snodes go up in 10 pound jumps, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I can add 4 of these on here, and now I have this is on 40, so I have a 45-pound dumbbell.
That's awesome, man.
So that's cool.
Because the 10-pound jump is a lot.
That's
like
a
we
lot.
talked about.
That's
even
like
5 is
yeah, even 5 can be a lot.
Yeah.
So when 5's a lot, you can actually pull some plates off, and now you have a 2.5-pound jump, and that's the idea. So you have the option to have a 5 or a 2.5-pound jump.
I love
that's
that.
the idea.
And you know what you don't have, which is really nice, is you don't have little stick-on magnetic weights on the outside. Because that's the big thing. So Snode sells these plates, and I'm not digging on these like little magnets. They're magnets for magnets.
They work.
Yeah, weights. They do it. But if you're going to set that weight on your legs, and you're going to lift anything up, you're going to do chest press, you're going to do any of the other stuff that you might have to balance that the flat side of the dumbbell on. Those adder weights are really going to be a problem. Whereas these are nice and snug inside. So those are awesome. Also super solid in terms of their contact.
Same thing.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're, what are the neodymium magnets?
Yeah, N52 neodymium magnet. Yep, they're very strong.
That's some serious stuff.
It is. We, once again, don't want it to fall off on your face.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah.
Exactly. All right, and then the dumbbell everybody's talking about that I have had and sold for many reasons, but one of the things that's been a concern for people is these plates, right? So you have these 2.5-pound plates that go inside of the dumbbell, and you have to pull a little pop pin. There's been a guy, I think his name was like Ski Dog 101. He's on eBay that sells these little kits.
Right.
And then, but you also have a rep that sent out new kits as well, just to make sure that these had a more flush contact. But you have to pop it out, and then you have to slide it out. And so, it's not a huge problem, but it also invades your hand space. And so tell me how this one differs from the other one.
So this is a flush plate. This is 2.5 pounds. These they slot right into the location of those other plates.
Yeah.
And what you do, these they rock in and out, and they have 2 springs, which you push in, and you just push straight down, and then they lock in. So springs inside, they push inside to lock. There's not very much there. You don't need much to keep it on, right? You're gonna take it, and they just slot right on there.
Clicks. That's
easy.
Awesome.
So that's 2.5. This is 1.25.
Yeah.
So this is something that rep doesn't offer yet, but it's 1.25 pounds. So now you can take a 2.5-pound jump on your rep Pepin. And it's the same thing. And they go left and right, and you pull them out. Same thing. You got springs, and then they just slot right back down, and they sit right on there.
So you get even more adjustments when you start to do this. This is what, 1.25?
And then there's another 1.25 here. There's the black one.
this side.
So you get 2.5-pound jump. We're on this goes up to 80. So this is an 82.5-pound dumbbell right now, essentially.
Are they all either black or red, or are they?
They're all black.
Okay.
So we sell black. We did red on these dumbbells with these attachments to make them pop and catch your attention.
Yeah.
So we usually sell black. People in like home gyms, you already have these. We do like colors on our dumbbell plates. You can see here, people have like a favorite color.
Yeah.
On this, we mostly did black because it just kind of works.
Yeah.
It just blends in. Yeah. And in here, the red kind of pops, caught your attention, and like, let's check it out. So that's the idea.
I love it. I love it. Well, the other thing I will say on these, if you are one of these people that likes to keep your gym immaculate and you're worried about little scuffs and bumps on your plates, with the Rep Pepin, you could tell that these had piloted the old one. Because of the pin, you can see
slid in.
This is from the old original pop pin, which would not happen if you use the Micro Gainz. So you do the Micro Gainz, you pop it out, and now it's got a flush side. So there's nothing to bang that primary plate. You just put it there and then push it in. And so now you're not dinging up your plates, which might or might not be a big deal for you.
Sure.
But it's just an extra advantage. And it's easier to pop in and pop out. The spring load feels really good, really tight tension. Awesome, man. Well, anything else you think would be worth taking a look at while we're here?
Yeah, just we can swing back around. This is, although we have a lot of these adjustables now, this is what we're most known for, is the dumbbell plate, which clips onto regular dumbbells.
Perfect.
In 1.25 size, different colors. We can make this 25, a 27.5-pound dumbbell. The bigger ones, the 2.5s, this adds 5-pound jumps. So if you don't want to have all of the large jumps, right? Like maybe you're, most people that are at home gym, right? Maybe they have 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and then like 160 and like 180. You know what I mean? They might not even have all the sets. This is a way to get more increments for less money than buying those extra sets. You can just buy 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Don't buy 45, 55, 65. Buy this instead, you'll save $1,000.
Yeah,
Just like that. Save some space too.
And you don't need
Like-
one for every pair of dumbbells.
You don't. One set
Yeah,
covers the
so-
dumbbells, and that's the idea.
You know, the other thing I thought about with that is like beyond the spend, right? I actually was considering, so I had individual dumbbells,
Okay.
and then I have the Micro Gainz at home, and I love them.
Yeah.
They work great, so it is something that I use myself, which is why I wanted to come by and say hi to Mike. But I think the key with the fixed dumbbells is they take up a lot of space. And
Right.
if you're running the whole set and you want to go 5 to 100 pounds in 5-pound increments, that is a lot of real estate in your home gym. And if you fractionize that and you drop that down to roughly half of those dumbbells, now you can fit it in a much smaller, maybe a little higher dumbbell rack, and then you can just magically adjust them to those 5-pound increments or the 2.5-pound. So that's awesome. And you
Exactly.
can add some flair. You got the pink ones,
Yep.
the blue ones.
We have them in 10 different colors. If you pick your favorite color, you want to match your gym aesthetic, whatever. So
Cool.
yeah, yep.
Man, that's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
Mike, it's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for stopping
much.
by. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, we'll see you around.
Yep.